Okay, I'm here with Pastor Mike Tuttle of Miamisburg Christian Church. Thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely.
And Mike's going to be sharing with us a little bit about the culture circle and how the culture of the GIDC and some of the things that we've been moving through here at his church has impacted the culture at Miamisburg Christian. So why don't we start just with, so we went through the core circle together. You have
Right.
a core team. Let's just start there. How is the core being impacted by disciple making?
Okay. Yeah, so we have about just right around 20 people that are involved as the core team. We had 2 disciple making teams that joined, and so there's about 20 of them. And it is interesting to see the fire in their eyes, especially now as we've been talking about culture and building the foundation, talking through values and mission and identifying what that needs to look like.
Right.
And to hear them craft, I mean, they're not even crafting words. It is like they're taking a hammer and chisel and they are engraving into the stonework here at MCC what it means to be a disciple maker.
Wow.
It is incredible. Somebody couldn't make the last meeting, and the disappointment in their voice when they said, I can't be there. And when's the next one? And so I love that they're leaning into it.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of the things that I thought was unique about your guys' team is that to a person, out of those 20, each one was discipling somebody.
At least.
Yeah, at
one
least
somebody.
one.
Yeah.
And you shared just not long ago that some of them are seeing that third generation now emerge, which is really cool. But we want to zoom in on culture during this time. So how is the core team impacting the culture here at MCC?
They have been working on the language, and so it has already begun to show up in our gatherings on the weekends. It has begun to show up in our conversations, our one-on-one conversations with each other, and how they are inviting people. I've been meeting their friends that they have been inviting, so that, they talk about who Jesus is and this journey they are inviting their friend on, and then they show up at church at some point and we get to meet them. And so just, as a matter of fact, so one of our guys, who is on the disciple-making team, invited a friend to Easter who has not been to church in decades.
Wow.
And so he's been talking to him about what it means to follow Jesus and be a disciple, leaning into disciple maker. And so he catches me before Easter Sunday and says, "Hey, what are you talking about on Easter?"
There's one thing you should be talking about.
I was going to say, we're talking about Easter on Easter, and what's the service going to be like? And I just want to make sure. And it's interesting, nobody cares until they're helping somebody find Jesus and grow in Him.
Wow.
And then they want to make sure that we're helping them move forward in their faith. It's not just another thing that we do. So it's been neat to watch not only their vocabulary change and their behavior change, but seeing forward. It used to be that we could see this far, and then it seems like, even after 6 months to a year, they could see to our church, and they're beginning to see beyond to the city and the difference that we can make, that God will use us in this place to make, not just in this area, but in our state, and beyond into our country and into the world. It's fun to watch that. It's a little painful, but it's fun because you have to push them into that. Well, you walked us through that.
Yes, but it's cool to hear these stories because it expands perspective for ministry, right? And as disciple-making culture gets into the life of these believers and this church as a whole, it just broadens everything out till we see. Again, it's not just me anymore. It's me and my friend, and now it's me and my friend and their family, and I love the way that you put that. So
I just want to say this too. Everything now on our calendar and our budget is moving 100% this direction. Has something to do with disciple making. It's part of the process that we're using to give opportunities to our people. Just easy steps to help walk people through and be able to help them to become disciples of Jesus, who will then go and make disciples of Jesus.
Very cool. All right, last question. what are you hoping? What are some of the next steps that you're going to be moving through with culture as we do this together? And what's the hope that the impact will be?
Well, we are finishing our work. We're coming toward the end, not at the end, but toward the end of working through like vision statement, mission, and our values so that we know what we're counting on to drive us forward, help us say no to even really good things or even things we're very comfortable with, and maybe even to keep us from leaning back into practices that have been honed over decades that don't fit into this model. And so just watching that continue to happen and watching our people as they continue to experience, because there's a cost to disciple making personally, but to watch them experience the cost to their own lives and the reprioritization of their time and how that's influencing our congregation, even as we talk about it more and examples more. And I know we're going to have some folks talking about it in the upcoming months here on Sunday mornings.
That's great. Mike, thank you.